Miscarriage after being hit, husband turned around and picked up by Yue Guang. When I had a miscarriage after a car accident, Jason ignored my call for help and picked up by Yue Guang. Turning back, he sneered at me, "Don't try to pretend to have a miscarriage to attract my attention, this trick won't work on me." Then he ignored the obstruction and protected by Yue Guang with a skin knee and got into my ambulance. When I was admitted to the hospital for rescue, I couldn't help but ask the nurse to notify him when I was facing the curettage operation alone. But what I waited for was his scolding, "What if it's a miscarriage? I won't even look at her if she dies." Ava was so scared that she had a heart attack. If something happens to Ava, I will make her live a life worse than death. On the way to the prenatal checkup, Jason's car stopped in front of me. "Who are you showing this pitiful look to? Get in the car." Jason doesn't like me to appear in public places. For example, a bus stop with people coming and going. I covered my stomach and sat in the back seat of the car. Ava, who was in the passenger seat, turned around and smiled sweetly. "Chloe, long time no see, it's all Achuan's fault. I've been back for so long, but he just won't let me see you. Fortunately, Achuan and I are going to the movies. I didn't expect to meet here." Her words were full of boasting, as if I was the third party who was shameful. I covered my belly with a bitter face. "Sorry, I have to go for a prenatal checkup." Ava's smile froze, and she immediately looked at Jason with grievance. Just a look, Jason immediately got angry. "What do you mean, knowing that Ava has a heart disease and can't get pregnant, but you deliberately show off in front of her? If you don't want to ride, get off the bus. I shouldn't have cared about you just now." Jason braked suddenly and stopped on the viaduct. Ava was still persuading him, "Okay, Achuan, I believe she didn't mean it. It was my problem. She had tears in her eyes. If I could get pregnant, my aunt wouldn't have forced me to leave back then." Jason held her hand distressfully, looking at me without a trace of warmth. Get off the bus. He forgot that I was planning to take the bus just now. It was him who insisted that I get in the car and then left me halfway. Just like back then, it was him who took the initiative to pursue me. I looked at the whizzing vehicles and begged with my eyes, "Can we wait a moment? This is an overpass and you can't get off the car." Unexpectedly, Jason opened the door and pulled me out of the car. "Get down quickly, people like you, what qualifications do you have to share a car with Ava?" The door was slammed shut, and I was about to say something when I heard a beeping sound from behind. A huge sense of oppression came over me, and the car was knocked out more than 10 meters away. I was thrown to the ground, and my brain banged. "Child, my child." I didn't have time to react, and I desperately grabbed Jason beside me. "Hurry. Hurry and save our child." Blood flowed from between my legs, and the piercing pain made me unable to say anything extra. At this moment, Jason was my only hope. Even if he couldn't do anything, just holding my hand and saying, "Don't be afraid," would give me the courage to persevere. But he shook my hand off the moment I grabbed it. He stepped over a pool of blood on the ground and rushed to the car that was hit without hesitation. "Ava, Ava, how are you?" At this moment, hope was shattered. I closed my eyes, feeling as if I had died. It turned out that the 5-year marriage was a joke from beginning to end. "Ambulance, ambulance, make way." Jason held Ava, whose knees were bruised, and put her on the stretcher in one fell swoop, ignoring the nurse's obstruction. "What are you still standing there for? Let's go." The nurse politely refused. "I'm sorry, sir, the pregnant woman behind you needs an ambulance more." The person who called the ambulance also said that there was a pregnant woman, so they added a lot of medicine for pregnant women. Jason's eyes darkened. "Why do you care about those irrelevant people? Ava has a heart disease. Will you be responsible if something happens?" As he said that, he stared at the nurse who stood up for me. "If she loses a hair, I will make sure you can't get into this industry." Hearing that there was a heart disease, the nurse had to take the person to the ambulance with a dark face. The moment the car door was closed, Jason turned around and said to me with a mocking look, "Don't try to pretend to have a miscarriage to attract my attention. This trick won't work on me." My face was pale and I didn't have the extra strength to speak. Fortunately, there was more than one ambulance. The nurse stayed to take care of me and told me again and again to be strong and not to sleep, but I was in so much pain, I really felt like I was going to die. If I died, would Jason regret his choice today? At the beginning, he was obviously looking forward to this child. The moment he knew he was going to be a father, he also turned down the meeting to buy maternal and child supplies with me, and would hug me and say thank you for your hard work. He never expressed his love, and I thought this was a sign of his love for me. Until later, I saw his diary locked in the drawer. For the first time, I knew that the aloof Zhou Tingyue also had the habit of writing a diary. It turned out that he was deeply in love with a girl named Ava. He drew her little portraits in the diary, coquettish, angry, lively, and quiet. He wrote about his thoughts for her, and the only time he mentioned me was on the day he knew he was pregnant. "Ava, she's pregnant. When she gives birth, I'll go to my mom to ask for your address." When that day comes, they'll have no reason to stop us from being together. That day, I tore up his diary and smashed his study like crazy. Jason heard the noise, pushed me away, and then picked up the diary page by page. Didn't I tell you not to mess with my study? You're such a bitch just because you're pregnant. How can you compare to her? He left angrily, leaving me alone with a broken heart. From then on, I knew that he pestered me every day for a child, not because he loved me at all. He was trying to get news about Ava from his mother-in-law. He had planned it from the beginning. He saved me and my mother just to make me willingly give birth to a child for him. And before the child was born, Ava came back. She's back, so why would she need a child? So he abandoned her decisively. Even though this was the little life he had hoped for. Chloe, what's wrong with you? Jason's sister Olivia is an obstetrician, and she knows everything about me. Where's Jason? Where is he? I shook my head. Sister, the child, save the child. Olivia gritted her teeth, and she knew with her toes that Jason must be with that vixen again. Relax, I will definitely scold him for you later. Olivia pushed me into the operating room and smiled at me comfortingly. I didn't want to listen to what she said, I just hoped to save the child. But the more I fear something, the more it will come. I'm sorry, the child can't be saved. The doctor told me very seriously, you must have surgery immediately, otherwise your life will be in danger. Are your family members here? Take it to sign first. I tried to sit up, my face pale. Can I sign it myself? Jason would never care about me, and I didn't want to put my life in his hands. The doctor didn't want to agree, and the nurse whispered something in his ear, and he agreed in a daze. But before the operation, I still asked the nurse to tell Jason. After all, this is his child. Unexpectedly, as soon as the operating room door opened, Jason's abuse came from outside. What if it's a miscarriage? I won't even look at her if she dies. Ava was so scared that she had a heart attack. If anything happens to Ava, I will make her live a life worse than death. Olivia slapped him in the face. Jason, that's your wife and your child. Jason clenched his fist and roared, that's all arranged for me. The person I love is Ava, never Chloe, never. Ava was in tears, pitiful. Sister, don't hit Achwan, I'm leaving. Then her eyes rolled up and she fainted in Jason's arms. Jason panicked instantly, and pulled the nurse who had just left the operating room to threaten her to save Ava first. The blood on my face faded, and I suddenly realized that my child was probably not as important as Ava's finger in his heart. Baby, did you realize this and don't want to come to this world? With Olivia stopping me, my operation went smoothly. The doctor said that I was in good health and that taking good care of myself would not affect my next pregnancy. Olivia felt guilty towards me. Chloe, this time it is our Jason family who let you down. Don't worry, Jason's family will only recognize you as their daughter-in-law and give you 5% of the shares. Jason is not sensible, don't take it to heart, take good care of yourself and try to have another child. Jason will change his mind sooner or later. Olivia patted my hand and comforted me earnestly. There is also an illegitimate child in Jason's family who is eyeing him covetously. Only Olivia and Jason are born by the mother-in-law. In order to prevent Jason's family property from falling into the hands of the illegitimate child, Olivia can only hope that I will give birth to Jason's eldest grandson as soon as possible. In Jason's family, except Jason, everyone else values this child. But no one values me. So they don't mention that Jason has a white moonlight, don't mention how much he loves her. As long as she appears, everyone has to stand aside. Just watch me jump into his gentle trap little by little, getting deeper and deeper until I lose the child. The child is gone, maybe I should leave. After this, Jason started to bring Ava out in the open. Not only did he take Ava to various banquets, but they also spent a lot of time together during daily work. People in the circle said that Jason was just like his father, and he would have an illegitimate child sooner or later. For this reason, my mother-in-law repeatedly ordered that Jason and I should play the role of a loving couple at Jason's grandfather's birthday next month to shut up outsiders. It's okay at other times, but if there's something wrong at your grandfather's birthday, I'm afraid everything will be attributed to the illegitimate child. Jason, no matter how much you don't like Chloe, she was chosen by the family, and you have to pretend to be a loving couple for me. Jason agreed on the surface, but his face changed immediately after he left. Don't think that my mother is on your side and you can do whatever you want with me. I chose you to marry you because you were pure and kind, but I didn't expect that in the end you would be no different from other women. Yes, he likes to praise me for my kindness and thinking about him in everything. He said his family was too strict and he had no freedom at all. He said his father had an illegitimate child outside, and his grandparents liked the illegitimate child and didn't care about him at all. He said his mother was even stricter with him and even confiscated his sports car. He always appeared in front of me like a wounded puppy, making me willing to give everything to treat him well. In order to get the recognition of his family, I used to study various skills day and night. I didn't miss any skills such as music, chess, calligraphy, and painting, various etiquette, finance, and computers. Finally, I got the recognition of Jason's family in every aspect. I married him openly. And now, I regret it. He has always loved freedom, and he doesn't like what his family likes. The more I am recognized, the more he feels that I am bound by rules and regulations, and I don't have the freshness of the past. He is a spoiled young man who always likes new things. Then let's get a divorce. As soon as the word divorce came out, I was relieved. I really love him. From the discovery of the diary to the loss of the child, I have never hated him. I just want to pay him back and return to my freedom. His face darkened and he cornered me. Chloe, say it again if you dare. I took off the ring and put it in his palm. You saved me and my mother, and the condition was to marry you and stay with you. But now, you don't need me to stay with you anymore. I was born in the countryside. 6 years ago, my mother had a tumor in her stomach. The doctor said that she had to have surgery as soon as possible, otherwise her life would be in danger. But the surgery cost tens of thousands of yuan, and we sold everything we had to raise 5,000. Even out of the 5,000 yuan, my father took 800 and ran away with my grandmother overnight. I cried in the rental house and went to a black-hearted hospital that day. I want to sell blood. The middleman who took over looked me up and down and touched my shoulder secretly. The girl is so pretty, it's a pity to have her blood drawn. If she follows me, she will have all kinds of wealth and glory. I trembled and refused, smiling. Mr. Liu, you are joking. My family is poor and I work hard every day. How can I catch your eye? Mr. Liu winked, and the others immediately surrounded me. The girl is still innocent. Whoever our brother Liu likes, he will never let go. I retreated in fear, while dialing with my fingers in my pocket, until a car stopped behind me and rolled down the window. Isn't this Mr. Liu? It's so hard for me to find him. The boy walked out of the car with a baseball bat. You haven't even settled the matter of bullying my employees last time. What, you've done something wrong again in front of me? General Manager Liu asked his men to retreat with a dark face, and smiled. It's Jason again, he's still haunting me. Jason hugged me and whispered in my ear, don't be afraid, just watch how I deal with them. The fresh mint smell came from his body, and at that moment, the July sun didn't seem so dazzling. The love of youth always comes unexpectedly, and the plot of heroes saving beauties is also unforgettable. He is like a savior stepping on auspicious clouds, saving me from fire and water. Later, he contacted the best doctor and saved my mother. I timidly asked how I could repay him. He laughed, how about giving yourself to me? I looked up in astonishment and saw that he was smiling. Only then did I realize that he had fooled me. I turned my head away angrily, and he grabbed my wrist and hugged me in his arms. Chloe, don't talk about repaying or not, you just need to stay with me, and stay with me forever. Chloe, I only have you. Later, I learned that he said Mr. Liu bullied his employees, and that employee was Ava. He said I was the only one because he saw a photo of Ava kissing another man at his mother's place that day. Jason suddenly laughed. Okay, let's get a divorce. Where's the divorce agreement? I shook my head. I have received enough over the years, and I don't need you to give me anything more. This is the truth. From the day his family recognized me, I got wealth that I could never imagine in my life. Speaking of which, they seem to be hiring me to be Jason's daughter-in-law. Jason was committed, so he gave me 5 million. Jason won a project, so he gave me 8 million. Jason knew how to take care of the family, so he gave me 10 million. And when I was pregnant, my mother-in-law rewarded me with a shopping mall in the city center, with an annual rent of tens of millions. I also worked diligently as Jason's daughter-in-law. As long as Jason kept Ava hidden, I could pretend not to know. But all this was just to give the child a healthy growth environment. Even if the child's mother was someone else. But now the child is gone. Chloe, you are really good. Jason gritted his teeth, and the words seemed to be squeezed out from between his teeth. Ava is still waiting, I don't have time to make trouble with you. Jason rushed out of the door, and his back looked like he was running away. This is his usual practice. Escape first and let others solve the problem. Then come back and enjoy the fruits of their labor after the problem is solved. Unfortunately, this time, I really want a divorce. President Jason and mother-in-law looked unhappy, and Olivia even cut the steak into small pieces. Not only was it the reason why I filed for divorce, but also the glaring, Jason and his mistress kissed passionately in a high-profile manner on the hot search. Chloe, have you thought it through? President Jason's eyes were sharp, as if I dared to nod, he would immediately order someone to torture me to death. It's one thing for your own son to have problems, and it's another thing for others to despise him. I put down my knife and fork, and straightened my back. Yes, I want a divorce. Jason's family looked at me in unison, and I felt very uncomfortable, but I didn't hide my gaze. I grew up in a poor family, and I was bullied a lot. Later, when I met Jason, in order to satisfy his desire to protect me, I put away my thorns and loved him with the attitude of a little girl. Now that no one is on my side, I have grown thorns again to defend the last bit of dignity. Enough. Jason, don't you have any problems with this? Now you dare to file for divorce. Let's stop this matter. I expected their attitude. Jason has always been a playboy, and he has never been liked by other elders in the circle since he was a child. In addition, he had a big fight with Ava and offended many people. With such a bad reputation, it has been difficult to find a girl in the circle willing to marry into Jason's family. As for marriage, those people don't need Jason's family at all. So I wanted to find one among the common people. It just happened that I was an excellent student, infatuated with him, and not materialistic. So I, in my early 20s, finally got this big enemy package through unremitting efforts. Fortunately, it's not too late to regret now. In less than 3 days, Jason's family took back the real estate they gave me. In addition to the shopping malls, villas and yachts, even my appointment with the old Chinese doctor was cancelled by Olivia. It was even spread in the circle that I couldn't keep Jason, so he was so sad about a sickly girl. If I can't even beat a sickly girl, I naturally can't sit still as the young lady of Jason's family. They tried to warn me through these things, don't think about going against Jason's family. Olivia advised me, men in the circle are almost like this, Jason is just a little high profile, you can bear it. Take Jason's money, why be greedy for feelings? If the child was still there, I would certainly endure it like she said, but my baby, the baby who called me mom in the dream, she died. The doctor said that she was originally a very healthy girl, a rich little princess who could grow up in love. How could I bear to be with the murderer of my child? I saw Jason again at their class reunion. Yes, I went to find him on purpose. They were playing truth or dare. Ava was teased and kissed Jason's lips shyly. Jason's eyes were deep, and he held her head and deepened the kiss. Facing the teasing, I knocked on the table. Everyone turned their eyes and smiled. Your circle is so chaotic, and the mistresses are so rampant. Jason panicked for a moment and knocked the bottle of wine on the table. The wine spilled on Ava's clothes, and she screamed with red eyes. Achwan. Jason reacted and wiped the wine stains on her skirt with a tissue. What are you doing here? He didn't raise his eyes from beginning to end, but I knew he was asking me, what else can you do? His friend chuckled, of course he came to apologize for flattering our Jason. That's right, she was the one who first interfered with the relationship between Jason and Ava, but she made up a story online, causing Ava to almost become depressed. I said that some people should be more sensible and clarify who is the third party as soon as possible, so that Jason may still look at you with a higher regard, and you can make more money after the divorce. Perhaps touched by the word divorce, Jason retracted his cynical look and his eyes turned cold. Get out. Ava looked at me provocatively and pulled Jason. Oh, Sister Chloe finally came here, it's not good to do this. Jason pushed her away for the first time and said coldly, you, get out. Except for me, everyone was stunned. Don't you understand? Get out. After the people left, he looked up at me. Stop it, let's go home. He seemed to know what I was going to say, and his hand was shaking. But I still pulled my hand out calmly. Jason, I'm really tired. Let's let each other go. Since the day of the miscarriage, I have never cared about him and Ava. But there are always various messages about him and Ava in my phone. At first, I didn't care, and after so many times, I could guess that Jason deliberately let me know. Just like this time, the location of the KTV was sent directly to my WeChat. The dandy boy who grew up was so arrogant even when asking for peace. Chloe, I used Ava to resist the old man's preference for Ryan. You should know that I can't really marry her. All this is performed for the old man, don't you understand? Ryan is the illegitimate child, and the first time he appeared, it was Jason's grandfather who personally introduced him. Ava had returned to China a long time ago, and Jason did get together with her not long after Ryan appeared. In terms of time, this reason is very reasonable. But it doesn't matter anymore. Passing by the dessert shop, Jason stopped the car and bought me a strawberry cake in person. He scratched his head, like a young man who had just fallen in love. I have wanted to buy it for you for a long time, and I just happened to meet you this time. I didn't say anything and put the cake in the back seat of the car. When I got home, Jason put on an apron and said he would cook for me personally. Finally, he wrapped his fingers with gauze and brought out a bowl of mutton noodles. The top layer was all mutton slices, sprinkled with chopped green onions, which was particularly appetizing. But when he handed over the chopsticks, I didn't take it. Jason was a little forbearing. Chloe, I have never served anyone like this in my life. No need. I said seriously, Jason, there is no need to insist anymore, I will not give up the divorce. How long are you going to do this? Jason roared, thinking he could make me back off like before. But I just smiled bitterly and pointed at the noodles in front of him. I'm allergic to lamb. He pointed to the cake next to him. I don't eat strawberries either. Jason, you knew all this before. Even the lamb allergy was not discovered until Jason treated me to lamb, and he personally took me to the hospital. I don't eat strawberries because my family used to sell strawberries, and if they couldn't be sold, I had to eat them myself. I've been eating them for more than 10 years and I'm tired of them. He won't remember my taboos, and the nanny at home won't remember them either. This kind of thing happens every few days. Jason was a little depressed, and his back was bent a lot. He poured out the noodles and called the nanny to scold her. The next morning, he agreed to divorce. In the car, I received a strange call. Chloe, are you a bitch? I looked up at Jason and turned on the speaker silently. Ava's harsh voice came. You keep pestering Jason whenever you get a chance. Are you so short of men? Do you have any shame? Don't think I don't know it's you just because you don't say anything, you bitch. Return Jason's phone to him, or I won't let you go. Jason was shocked at first, and his face turned as black as the bottom of a pot. He didn't say anything, and the whole car was filled with Ava's abuse. I saw that the effect had been achieved, so I hung up the phone silently. I also blocked the number. Did she do this before? I nodded and said nothing more. Jason didn't want to believe it, but it was true. The weak and kind Ava he thought was a selfish and vicious shrew. She came to me as soon as she came back, and showed off the sweet memories of their previous love to show how much Jason loved her. Then she snatched Jason away from me many times, and sent me their intimate photos to prove that he only had her in his heart and didn't take me seriously. At that time, I cried, made a scene, and was hysterical. But in Jason's eyes, I was vicious, selfish, and hateful. But now, I only need to nod my head, without saying a word, and Jason will return these charges to me. Ava. 1 month after the divorce cooling off period, I moved out of his villa. Fortunately, I didn't live a life of idleness in Jason's house these years, but spent Jason's money to buy myself a lot of property. All this was done behind Jason's family's back. They didn't know. They didn't even know that I was the boss behind the already famous private clothing studio. The boss in public was my best friend. When we were studying design, we were classmates. When she heard that I finally got out of Jason's family, my best friend was relieved. It's good to get divorced. Jason's family has a reputation as stinky as shit in the circle. Congratulations, you finally got out of the shit. I rolled my eyes and said, draw your picture. During the cooling off period, I still have to cooperate with Jason to attend Jason's grandfather's birthday. My best friend personally designed a dress for me, and she said she would make me outshine the others. I heard that Jason, that bastard, bought Ava the latest Dior couture. We can't lose. I raised my eyebrows. What if it's too dazzling and Jason regrets the divorce? My best friend paused while holding the dress. Yes, he is not incapable of doing such a thing. In the end, I wore the dress. The reason is simple, Jason actually sent me a dress. Between my ex-husband and my best friend, of course I chose my best friend. The banquet was held at Jason's old house. Because of the old man's face, there were still quite a lot of people coming. My mother-in-law winked at me and asked me to go in with Jason's hand. I ignored her and left alone. I ate and drank quietly during the whole process and didn't want to cause any trouble, but trouble always finds me. I don't know who brought Ava in, and she found me as soon as she came. Chloe, please, let my brother go, please, please, please. Ava was wearing a torn white dress, with a scratch on her face and blood on her legs. I won't fight you for Jason, I won't dare to do it again, please let my brother go, he's only 13 years old. The others were talking, isn't this Jason's mistress, why did she come to this kind of occasion? Hey, little girl, everyone knows that Jason's mistress is a soft persimmon, what can she do, you have to go to Jason. That's right, I guess Jason's family did something to her brother to threaten her to leave Jason. TSK tisk, there's something going on. Grandpa Jason's face turned black, pointing at President Jason and cursing, useless thing, look at what you have done. Jason beside him stared at Ava, brother. Ryan shook the goblet, gentle and elegant, it's always inappropriate for girls to kneel, I don't know what brother is going to do. It's you. Jason realized almost instantly that Ava was the illegitimate child who was put in. In other words, Ava had long been a chess piece of Ryan. Jason's head buzzed and he felt cold all over. He was calculated. Ryan calculated that he would accept Ava's entanglement out of spite with the old man, thus making a scene of cheating on his wife. The more he behaved like a jerk, the more disappointed the old man would be, and then he would highlight Ryan's excellence and be more partial to Ryan. And the more the old man was partial to Ryan, the angrier he would be, and then he would be even more jerkish. It was really well calculated. Will Chloe also? Of course I'm fine. The mother-in-law slapped Ava in the face and found that there was no scar on her face, it was painted on. My mother-in-law was furious. She tore off Ava's skirt and stuffed it into her mouth, and asked the security guard to kick her out. I had been taken away from the banquet by Olivia a long time ago, and there were no bad rumors about me. Olivia cursed all the way, what a Ryan, he is plotting against our family. It's all because of these stinky men who can't control their lower body and give birth to a disaster to harm the whole family. Chloe, thank you for your reminder, otherwise it would be even more uncontrollable. I didn't hesitate to accept this thank you. Yes, I reminded them that Ava's sudden return to China was very strange. Jason's family promised Ava that if she stayed in Ireland and didn't come back, she would receive a sum of money every year. Her original family valued boys over girls, and after knowing that she was on Jason's list, they came out to suck blood many times, making her miserable. She could go abroad to get rid of the vampire family, and someone paid her to be free and easy. How could she come back for no reason? But Jason's family didn't take my reminder seriously, so Ava got 32 again and again. Ava's brother really died, and his body was found in a villa under Jason's name. No one lived there, and there was no surveillance, so it became an unsolved case. I heard that Ava was heartbroken and returned to Ireland. Jason was dismissed by Jason's grandfather, and most of his property was taken back. President Jason really became the vice president, and Ryan was given an important task and became a business upstart. A month later, Jason had a beard and seemed to have changed. But for me, it doesn't matter whether a person changes or not, as long as I get the divorce certificate. Jason was a little stunned when he saw me full of energy and vitality. Chloe. He called me. This is how you should be. I was speechless and didn't want to listen to him. When I turned around, I heard him say again, Chloe, I'm sorry. Chloe, I wish you success and a prosperous future. Chloe, I hope we don't meet again. I stepped on my high heels and didn't look back. Chloe has really changed. I don't know if she has changed, or if she has always been full of thorns. I have to say that she has really pretended well over the years, even fooling my family. I know Chloe is allergic to lamb. I saw such a big piece of lamb in the refrigerator, and I thought she was no longer allergic to it, otherwise how could the nanny dare to buy it back for cooking? I also thought about wrapping the wound on my hand more exaggeratedly, so that she would know that I was so badly injured in cutting lamb for her, so that she would feel sorry for me. Fuck, I didn't expect to be cheated by the nanny in the end. Okay, I really forgot that she doesn't eat strawberries. It's all the fault of the salesperson, saying that their strawberry cake is the hottest and most popular among girls. Like it, I was cheated. Tisk, Jason, you really know how to make excuses for yourself. Is it so hard to admit that you are useless? You have been useless since you were a child. That illegitimate child who grew up in the countryside is more useful than you. You are trying to please your grandfather and using Ava to plot against you. What's even more ridiculous is that Chloe clearly reminded you, but you said she was jealous. Jealous, you idiot. Now you have lost your wife, your money, and you almost got murdered. Jason, you deserve it. But idiots still have to have dreams. After wandering around Ireland for 3 months, I finally found Ava. Well, if I can't beat Ryan, can I beat you? TSK, she even became a Chinese teacher, which is really misleading. Taking advantage of the darkness, I carefully dressed up the drone and wanted to pretend to be a ghost to scare her. I don't know if other things are true, but I can guarantee that she is more afraid of ghosts than Pearl. Woo, I died so miserably. A ghost, don't come over, go away. When the drone was about to touch her, her legs softened and she knelt on the ground and began to kowtow. Brother, I was wrong. I didn't mean to kill you. It was Ryan who said that you only know how to fight and it's useless to keep you. It's better to contribute to your strength. It was Ryan who threatened me. If I didn't do it, he would publicize my nude photos under men.I. I had no choice. Whoa, please let me go. I won't dare to do it again. Whatever you need, I will burn it for you immediately. Apple 4-piece set, right? I will burn it for you. I will burn it for you right now. I was stunned on the spot, and the drone didn't move for a long time. My goodness, the murderer was right in front of me. I always suspected that Ryan sent a killer to kill him, but I didn't expect that it was Ava who did it herself. He was her own brother. After reacting, I quickly controlled the drone to leave. My hands were shaking with excitement. There was a recording on the drone. Wow, I have been a jerk all my life, and I am finally going to be useful. TSK.my subordinates told me that Ava was found by my stupid brother. Even more unfortunately, the stupid brother also got the evidence of Ava's murder. I heard that it was the idiot brother who pretended to be a ghost, and Ava was scared and confessed everything. They are two people who love each other to death, but they are both stupid. Fuck, why don't you lock it up? Fortunately, I didn't leave any evidence at the beginning. Grandpa came to me. He asked me to give some money to my brother, saying that we are brothers and he is still useful, so don't make the relationship so stiff. Fuck, it's easy for me to earn some money by working like a cow or a horse, why should I give it to that playboy? Grandpa saw that I was dissatisfied, and his eyes were deep. Jason's family's reputation has been restored with great difficulty. Do you want to be ruined by that idiot again? Spend money to avoid disaster and shut him up. I suddenly realized and transferred 20,000 yuan. Grandpa snorted and didn't care about my behavior of sending away beggars. 20,000 yuan, I was so distressed. It's enough to buy a collar if I use it to make clothes. Oh, the studio that makes clothes is opened by Chloe. After she divorced my stupid brother, the studio was thriving. She didn't want to take my orders. But I gave too much. Her best friend's eyes were red, and she grabbed her hand and signed. Her best friend's name is Amanda, which is a really interesting name. I didn't expect that as soon as my stupid brother returned to China, someone in the company is talking about my illegitimate identity behind my back. Angry, I won't go to work today. Oh, Chloe and Amanda came to deliver clothes and were stopped. Chloe was pushed to protect the clothes. Oh my god, Amanda went up and slapped the person and sent him flying. My mother said that if you want to find a wife, you have to find a tough one, so that you won't be bullied. She was weak, so she was deceived by the scumbag. Mom, I believe you, Mom, I'm going to do it. Hee, Amanda, wait for me. After I come back, no more hee. Woohoo, Amanda said Jason's family has no good people, she would never marry him. I was so angry that I froze another card of the stupid brother. The stupid brother came to the company, and I left him in the living room, not wanting to see him. Unexpectedly, Chloe also came. I felt a chill on my back and hurried out to see. If that idiot did something again, I would never be able to pursue Amanda in this life. Please don't, stupid brother, please. Fortunately, they seemed peaceful. Chloe was scrolling through her phone, and was amused by the video from time to time. The stupid brother looking at Chloe, I felt like I was about to drool. I held my forehead in my hand speechlessly, it was really unbearable to watch. Chloe said that if I could not let Amanda suffer any grievances and could completely control the other people in Jason's family, she would not object to me and Amanda being together. I stared at her blankly, my heart pounding. Mom, I have made it. What's the difference between getting the support of Amanda's bestie and getting Amanda herself? No wonder she looks down on my stupid brother. A woman with such a big vision is not something my stupid brother can talk to clearly.